I'm Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, we're using the full release of Firmware 9 for the FM9. There are so many new features in here. This is an absolutely massive update that comes with updated factory presets, but I wanted to put together a preset that I'll share for free with all of you on Xchange that highlights some of my favorite brand new features in this firmware. We're going to start with the Brit 800 Studio 20 amp model and this new 1x12 Schultz Dynacab. I'm using the ribbon selection. You will notice that in FM9 Edit, this graphical display has been updated and improved for the Dynacabs. I really like it. It kind of feels like I'm standing above a cabinet thinking about where I want to put my microphone over here. So I've just gone with this mic placement over here. You can see all the important parameters are in this same little window here. And I'm going to use the studio reverb at the stock settings. We will hear a little bit of this large chamber reverb as well. All the realistic spaces in the reverb block have been updated and improved here. The studio, I think, sounds fantastic as an always-on reverb, and I like the chamber for something a little more lush as well. So let's dive in, hearing this Brit 800 Studio 20, the Schultz Dynacab, and the studio reverb. That's a wonderful fat clean tone with a little bit of breakup on there. That would make a fantastic all-around amp to stack different effects into. And we're going to do just that. We'll start off with the new Vibrato King Custom Spring. This is one of my favorite spring reverb models in here. It's so drippy and lush sounding. And if you're going for those cleaner like 50s or 60s tones, or you want to get a surf tone out of here, this would be a great one to start with. One of the highlights of this firmware is the overhauled compressor block. You've got a whole bunch of new effect types in here, including a Rockman compressor, this VCA bus compressor. You've got an 1176 style JFET studio compressor, but the one that I found myself using as an always-on enhancer for cleaner sounds is this optical compressor. Ratio at 4. I turn the threshold down a little bit. I love that you can add drive in here. And what I'm going to do is just bring the level up on here because I'm going to use this essentially as a boost with this guitar. So let's hear it off and then I'll kick it in. drive block has also had multiple new effect types in there and a bunch of updates to existing types. The 77 Custom OD is a great lower gain overdrive that you can use to shape the tone going into your amp. You can use it as a standalone distortion as well. We'll hear it at the stock settings. I really like this 100 Hertz knob on here, which is basically like a fat control on there. You turn it up and you're going to get a lot more body out of single notes. You bring it down and you can tighten up your high gain sounds. I kind of like it with the gain somewhere below 5 and a little bit of a level boost, but we'll just play around and see where we end up on this one. Very, very tasty indeed. The Big Muff models have had an update and there's several new types. I think if you're a David Gilmour fan, you're really going to like the Ram's head on here. There's even the ability to kick in this Wicker switch mod and disable the tone control. So if you were trying to emulate like one of the Cornish style fuzzers, you could turn the tone off and play around with the high cut parameter in here. I mean, this sounds pretty good at the stock settings as a starting point. Let's just have a listen to what we've got. Also a model of the classic color sound booster as well. I like this color tone OD model because it sounds pretty nasty. Another one of my favorite new drives is the Integral Pre, based on a TC Electronics Integral Preamp. We'll hear that one a little bit later with a different amp. Let's move on to scene 5 here, which is using the new Modern Vibe type in here. Again, the Uni-Vibe types in the phaser block have been updated. If you're a Robin Trower fan or a Hendrix fan, try the Classic Vibe and the Modern Vibe. They are just absolutely gorgeous. Requested feature that has been added to the tremolo block is this new ducking control, which is really lovely because if you like the sound of a trem on, say, chords or sustained notes, but you want it to be a little less intense when you're actually playing, this can give you that effect with no hassle. So what I'll do is I'll turn the ducking all the way down and then we'll take it up to around 4. You'll hear a really pronounced tremolo effect across everything that I do. When I kick the ducker in, when I'm playing hard, the tremolo is going to be less prominent. And when I stop playing and let the notes fade out and sustain, you'll hear that trem swell in. It's a really cool effect. The FM9 can now run 2 simultaneous instances of the multi-tap delay block, which means if you want to do the Steve Lukather-inspired circular and pan delay settings, you can do that. I've got the PCM circular on this first multi-tap delay running in parallel with the PCM pan. I've got kill dry engaged on both of these so that I'm not adding extra wet signal, and I'm managing the gain staging in there. This is really lovely with a clean sound. Then what I'm going to do is switch over to one of the Friedman BE amp models, which have been updated in here. The negative feedback control, which is super important on an amp like that, is also exposed to the user. I like turning it down to around 2. So we will hear the circular and pan delays on this cleaner sound, and then with a big greasy Friedman on there. I'll put this preset up on Exchange if you want to try it out. I'd highly encourage you to try out their new factory presets as well. There are hours and hours of fun to be had scrolling through those and trying out some new tones. If you want to grab the preset that I've walked you through today, I'll link it in the video description. Let me know what your favorite new features are on Firmware 9 for the FM9 and how you're using it. And I'll play you all out with Scene 8 from Leon's Live FM9. This is a factory preset. This one I have set out to emulate the sound of the old Rockman X100. So it's the new Rock Guy compressor, tone control cranked up to get a bunch of sparkle out of the guitar. There's no amp or cab on here, but I am using a digital stereo chorus, a quad parallel delay, the gold plate reverb, and of course some dual detune on here. This is absolute magic if you like those late 80s session style cleans. Until next time, take it easy, enjoy the sounds, and I will see you for another Tuesday Tone Tip.